While Jebi and Subutai were sweeping through Eastern Europe, Genghis Khan himself led a massive Mongol army into the region of Khorasan. Jebi and Subutai had passed through Khorasan before, but their goal back then was to chase Sultan Muhammad, not to hold territory. This time, Genghis came with a different goal: full conquest. Khorasan covers a huge area, including most of modern-day Iran, northern Afghanistan, and part of Turkmenistan. The key cities in the region were Balkh, Herat, Nishapur, and Merv. Genghis Khan's first target was Balkh. On the way there, the Mongols reached a smaller city called Tarnak. As usual, Genghis sent messengers ahead, offering the city a chance to surrender peacefully. But the Muslims of Tarnak weren't interested in surrender. They believed their tall city walls would keep them safe. They wanted to fight for their faith. So they killed the Mongol envoys and threw their heads down from the wall in front of the Mongol army. Genghis Khan was furious. He immediately ordered a full-scale assault. Over the next 2 days, the Mongols used hundreds of catapults to launch giant stones and explosive firebombs into the city. The walls were badly damaged and the defenders suffered heavy casualties. On the third day, Genghis launched the final attack. He sent prisoners and captured troops in first to absorb the arrows, followed closely by the Mongol cavalry. By the end of the day, Tarnak had fallen. What followed was mass slaughter and looting. There's a grim story from that day. An elderly woman begged a Mongol soldier to spare her life, offering a precious pearl if he let her go. The soldier asked, "Where's the pearl?" She said, "I swallowed it." The Mongol cut her open without hesitation and found the pearl inside. Thinking other prisoners might be hiding gems the same way, the Mongols began cutting open every captive, looking for treasure. After taking Tarnak, Genghis Khan continued on to Balkh. During the earlier campaign, Jebi and Subutai had only passed through, too focused on chasing Sultan Muhammad to capture the city. Now, with Genghis himself leading the army, the people of Balkh chose to surrender immediately. They opened the gates, offered gifts, and pledged loyalty. At first, Genghis Khan was ready to spare them, but news soon arrived. Jalal ad-Din, the late Sultan Muhammad's son, had declared himself the new ruler. Using his influence, he convinced several cities to rebel against Mongol rule, and even killed Mongol-appointed officials. Genghis Khan realized he had to send a strong message, so he ordered the entire population of Balkh to be driven out of the city. On the open plain outside the walls, they were systematically executed. Then the city walls were torn down, so no one could ever use Balkh as a base for rebellion again. During the Mongols' first Great Western expedition, there was only one significant defeat, the Battle of Parwan. Located just north of present-day Kabul, Afghanistan, Jalal ad-Din, son of the late Sultan Muhammad II, had regrouped and assembled over 60,000 troops at Parwan after taking the throne. When Genghis Khan heard of this, he immediately ordered his general Shigi Kutug to lead 30,000 elite Mongol cavalry to crush Jalal ad-Din once and for all. But things didn't go as planned. Despite the Mongols' usual dominance, the Khwarezmian soldiers, driven by hatred and a desire for revenge, fought fiercely under Jalal ad-Din's command. The two sides clashed in a brutal battle that lasted 2 full days. Due to poor battlefield decisions by Shigi Kutug, the Mongol forces were lured into a basin and surrounded by Jalal ad-Din's men, who had the high ground. The result? A disaster. The Mongol army was nearly wiped out. Only a few hundred men managed to escape with Shigi Kutug, who returned to Genghis Khan in disgrace. Genghis Khan was furious when he heard the news. He immediately led 50,000 Mongol cavalry, including 10,000 hand-picked elite troops, and personally rode south to pursue Jalal ad-Din. The chase took them all the way to the Indus River. There, the Mongol army crushed Jalal ad-Din's forces. With no other option, Jalal ad-Din made a desperate escape. He leapt from his horse into the river, swimming across as Mongol archers prepared to shoot. But Genghis Khan, watching from the riverbank, ordered them to stop. He was deeply moved by the young sultan's courage. As Jalal ad-Din swam away, Genghis reportedly said, "A father should be proud to have such a brave son." Though Jalal ad-Din later tried to rebuild his kingdom, his efforts were crushed by the Mongols. He eventually fled to Turkey, where he was killed by Kurdish peasants. By this point, Genghis Khan had conquered all of Central Asia, including parts of modern-day Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, and Iran, even reaching northern India. It was during this western campaign that Qiu Chuji, a famous Taoist master from China, traveled west to meet Genghis Khan. He left Shandong in January 1220, and after nearly 2.5 years, arrived at Genghis Khan's camp in the Hindu Kush mountains of Afghanistan in May 1222. Qiu Chuji was already 74 years old, and Genghis was around 60. The aging Khan, worn out from constant warfare, wanted to know the secret to eternal life. But Qiu Chuji told him the truth. There is no way to live forever. The best you can do is take care of your health. Rather than getting angry, Genghis respected the sage's honesty, and the two spent time discussing health, philosophy, and morality. Qiu Chuji's real mission, however, was to convince Genghis Khan to stop the killing. He stayed in the Mongol camp for nearly a year and, in April 1223, began his journey home. Genghis Khan personally ordered 500 soldiers to escort him and gifted him a royal decree, Tiger Tally. That decree would later save the lives of over 30,000 people. Just 1 month before Qiu Chuji left, Genghis Khan received devastating news from the east. His trusted General Mukhali, who had been leading campaigns against the Jin dynasty, had died in Shanxi province. Genghis was heartbroken. At the end of 1223, he decided it was time to return to Mongolia and sent word to Subutai and Jebi, who were still campaigning in Europe. In the spring of 1224, Jebi fell ill while passing through Baikonur, Kazakhstan, and sadly died of fever. His death left the army in mourning. Both Mukhali and Jebi had been among Genghis Khan's most trusted and accomplished commanders. They had played key roles in building the Mongol Empire, and their contributions were honored for generations. Their sons and descendants continued to serve Mongol Khans and emperors of the Yuan dynasty with distinction. In the spring of 1225, Genghis Khan and the Western Expeditionary Army returned to their base on the Onan River in Mongolia. From 1219 to 1225, the first Mongol invasion of the West had lasted 6 years, conquering vast areas of Central Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Eastern Europe. It was a campaign that reshaped the map of the known world. The Mongol Empire had grown at unprecedented speed, and the world had only just begun to feel its impact.